your pals, Tommy D and Val. And I only do it that way because it rhymes better that way. We believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. That's why we continue to nurture these relationships in business, in rescue, and in advocacy so that everyone wins.
Especially the animals.
That's right. Whether they bark or meow or growl or run around or crawl around or slither around, we love them all. That's it. What's it say on your shirt, Valerie?
Oh, this is one of the brands that we carry, Proper Pet Nutrition, small batch, it's called, humanely
Got it.
raised, no antibiotics, all the good stuff.
I love it. You know, I love swag. You know that. So this is from the Mental Health Association of Nassau County from the
Uh,
Gone But Not Forgotten walk that I emceed a couple weeks back at Jerome's Beach. So we love swag. Oh, look, Ann Levy has some swag on too. Ann Levy,
I
what do you
do.
have?
Well, it just says Pooches Bed and Barkfast. No big deal.
No
uh,
big deal, but I don't have one. Val doesn't have one. Just saying, just saying. Do you sell swag? Can we buy some swag from you?
You know, we have toyed around with that, but we have not.
Hmm,
We're taking baby steps over here. You
fair
know,
enough.
eventually we'll get to that.
My wife got a heat press in the last couple of weeks, Val. So and so just like be a lot of new stuff.
fun.
Good. That's
Yes.
great.
Yes. Let's get into the show. Let's talk. Let's talk. It's been a while. Ann Levy and I met originally because I was at a walk and you were singing our national anthem, if I'm not mistaken,
That is
right?
correct.
So I
Yeah.
was thinking on the drive back to my office just now, I wanted the first question I want to ask, and I know you and Val been keeping in touch about things, business and otherwise. First thing I want to ask you is, are you a singer? Or did you just sing like that day? Do you occasionally sing? Because you came over, I was scooping Italian ices, but I'm not an Italian ice guy, right? So like we weren't maybe doing our thing. Tell us about your singing.
I wouldn't consider myself a singer, but I'm more of a closet singer. You know, there's a lot of good stuff that goes on in my car. I'm not gonna lie, but
Uh,
um, I'm kind of weird with the singing actually. Like I'll go to sing somewhere. Like for example, that event that was the
it's
was
Operation Vest.
yes, that's right. And I
Yep.
didn't know anybody there, and I was like, yeah, I'll go sing in front of all these people that I don't know. But if a room full of people that I know are listening to me sing, I'm a little weird with that. So I wouldn't
I
consider
get that.
myself a singer. That's not normal to think that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Before we get into one thing, I just want to shout out Jenny and Stefan Hespler, who founded that organization that we met at that day in the park. Operation Vest, Veterans Ending Suicide Together. Stefan goes around doing 22 plus one push-ups all the time because tragically we lose 22 veterans every day to suicide, and we must realize that that is absolutely not acceptable. And there's organizations like Operation Vest that shine a light on that. So all right, let's get into talking about animals. Let's get into talk about Pooches B&B. Val, you were determined over the last 2 weeks to me, Tommy D, we must get Ann back on the show. What was it that was in your mind that you were like, we got to get back with Ann? Tell me about that.
Yes. So, first of all, well, I love her. I love you, Anne.
Likewise, feelings are mutual.
Ann Levy is just a wonderful human being with a huge heart for the animals. And we had her on this show 3 years ago, 3+ years ago, to talk about the business that she was working on opening. So, number one, she wasn't even open yet. Number two, I was unable to be on that show. And so now that she's open, and I love so much what she's doing because boarding in general is such a problem and a concern for so many pet parents. There's a lot of boarding places out there. Most of them, and I know this because when I was doing pet sitting during COVID, they were my competition. And I'm not gonna lie, it was very easy to win the business. I used to go to people's homes, so the pets would be in their own environment and everything. But the things I heard were like, number one, a lot of them don't have 24/7 staff. There's
Mhm.
from like 7 in the morning to 7 at night, which doesn't cut it. My dog goes out again 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So I was like, oh my gosh, my dog is not going to be able to go out again. And then the other thing also is that the food, we prepare a certain diet for our dog. And I was calling around just out of curiosity, do you guys allow people to bring their own food? It's refrigerated, whatever. And most of them said no, like it has to be kibble, it has to be something that's not refrigerated. And I'm like, forget this is ridiculous. So the standards of care are so important. And plus, I used to hear from pet parents all the time that like their dogs would come back dirty, like literally with like number one on them. Number two, also, they would come back sometimes sick with an upper respiratory infection because they have so many dogs there all at the same time. And then there were also sometimes they would do like play groups together and things like that, and dogs would fight or get, somebody would come back injured. So and I've personally never boarded my dog or cats, which kind of goes without saying because cats hate change. Um, I was like, there's literally no one that I can think of who I would trust or entrust with the care of my pets until I started talking to Anne and her vision for this Pooches B&B named after her beloved dog Pooch. And I'll let her go into all of the details, but the planning, the standards of care, the 24/7 physicality of being on call, right? And anyway, I'm so excited about this because this is what every pet parent wants when they go away. They want peace of mind. So Anne, let's hop in. Like, first of all, I want to ask you, how long have you been open? Please give the full name and location of your company and how people find you. And the other thing I just want to say really quickly before I let her take it away is that if you're not following her on Instagram, Pooches B&B, you have to. It's some of the best content I think that's out there. It's so many fun activities that she has going on with the dogs, these super creative videos, and you get to see the interior of the rooms that they're in. This is like luxury, high-end accommodations for your dogs.
Yeah. Everything that you just said is exactly right. And everything that I believe and I wanted to create, I did create. So we're Pooches Bed and Barkfast. However, we're in the process of changing it to Pooches B&B. I won't get into that, but we are known as both Pooches Bed and Barkfast, Pooches B&B, and we're in Lake Grove, New York. We are on a main road, Route 25. Everybody knows Middle Country Road in New York, or Long Island, I should say. So, we get a lot of visibility here, which is good. And we have 7,000 square feet of space here. I would have liked a little more, but we definitely did very well with the space that we had to work with. So basically all of our accommodations are suites, and I wouldn't have it any other way because my pooch, like Valerie said, he has passed away, but he was my life and I never left him anywhere. I would have never, ever, ever settled for a boarding facility. There would have been no reason more important than him that I would have to leave him. So we just didn't really travel that often unless my mother-in-law watched our little baby, and she was great with him. So we were fortunate to have that option, but I know a lot of people don't have that option and they struggle finding pet care. So a lot of people need to settle or they just don't travel. So we have found every single parent that we give a tour to, they're like, oh my God, my prayers have been answered. This is what we've been waiting for. So
Yeah.
we basically check off every box that people want. And like right now, there are no dogs barking. Like it's literally the most calm environment. And we created that. We created this environment where they are able to nap and sleep, which is very healthy for them. We play with them. We do individual playtime with them, so they're not socializing with other pups. We will eventually offer that option, but we're not offering it right now, and we won't ever require it. It won't be a requirement that your dog socializes, which is another issue that a lot of pet parents run into. The
Mhm.
boarding facilities only allow dogs to be in the resort or in their kennel if they socialize during the day and then they, go to their crates or whatever at night. We don't have any crates or cages here. On occasion, a parent will bring their own.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love that so much. It just triggered a memory that I have to share.
Sure.
This is something that a lot of pet parents need to understand. So, a couple of years ago, before we opened our store, we were hunting for space. And one Sunday, I remember it was brunch. After brunch, in the same parking lot, it was like a shopping center, um, there was an empty commercial spot, and it was right next door to a boarding well-known franchise name. I won't say it, but I was like, oh wow, that could be great for us, right? Then I looked into the window and I was so upset by what I saw. This was during hours they were supposed to be open. There was no one there. I was ringing the bell, I was knocking on the door. On the other side of the wall, tinted windows, by the way, which strike one, but but I saw through the window like a row of kennels. All the dogs were barking, freaking out. They had no flooring underneath. They were just right on top of like a hard linoleum, I don't know how to say it, hard floor. No water, no one in sight. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, so then I'm calling and no one's answering. And then we had to leave. So I said to my husband, let's go back in an hour. I called my friend Joanne. Everyone knows her for, well, not everyone, but anyway, she's a huge animal advocate involved with the Humane Society. Told her what was going on. She's like, go back in an hour. If there's no one there, call the police. I was like, okay, all right, we're going to do this. Anyway, we went back in an hour. There was someone there. I told them what was going on. They were so nonchalant about it. So then I said, you know what? While I'm here, I'd like to see, let me see. I want a tour. And what I saw was so disheartening. Again, they closed at 7 p.m., I think 5 on Sundays. And like, they didn't want to show me the back.
Mhm.
They did not want me to go there. And I was like, well, I'm asking you to take me. If you're not going to take me, I'd like to speak to headquarters. Because to me, every aspect should be visible to the pet parents.
Of
And
course.
what I saw was filthy. It smelled. It was like this back area where there were some crates, there were some sinks, like where I guess they wash dogs or whatever. It was so poorly kept. And I was just like, I don't understand how this is even in existence. But look, anyone can make a great website. Anybody can write. Same thing with, breeders for puppy mills. They'll make it look like it's a country club online. But behind the scenes is a very different story.
So I got to ask you both this question then, because I think that's critically important. So, like, I have a dog. His name is Cheeto. My guy Cheeto on Instagram. But I have a dog. His name's Cheeto, and we don't leave him anywhere. To be honest with you, sometimes similar to what you said there, and he hangs with my mother-in-law. But most of the time he comes where we're going. The thing is though, like, I am not in the weeds as much as certainly you are, Valerie, and certainly you are, Ann, having done all this research. So, what do you say to somebody who is not in our advocacy world and is not learning all the time? How do you, what are the questions I would ask if I was going to go to a big box or a little box? Maybe it's a regional local player in this, in the kennel space, and you use the word resort, and I heard that because I know you talk about your place as a resort, or doggy daycare if it's a daycare instead of what am I asking about? What do I want to know as a consumer?
Mhm.
You want me to go, Valerie?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure there's somebody in the building overnight. And I have been researching everything for many years, looking at other companies' websites, and they're very tricky with the way they word it, where they'll say 24-hour monitoring or something to that effect, where you're like, oh, there's somebody watching them, but that just means there are cameras in there and they're not in the building, they're at another location. I would never ever leave our guests, these innocent babies. I would never, even though they're in suites, I would never leave them alone overnight. God forbid anything can happen, and we need to have people in the building to be here. God forbid to evacuate. And I mean, we have the fire department, thankfully, is right around the corner. I could walk there from here. And they have a layout of our resort. They know where every single suite is. We have numbers above the suites. We also have suite numbers at the bottom of the door, just in case there is smoke in the building. They'll see that number at the bottom because they won't see the number on top of the suite if there's smoke. And we've basically covered all angles to make sure that we can evacuate. And we have an outside area that we can bring them to if we do need to evacuate. And we'll have somebody in the building to help orchestrate it. We wouldn't have to wait for, like, yes, we have a very it's a brand new, obviously, because we built everything brand new. We have a fire system. We're connected to the station, so God forbid if anything, they're notified immediately and they come right here. But we need to have somebody in the building. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not having somebody in here. So that's very important. And you want to see where your dog is sleeping. You need to ask them, I want to see where my dog is sleeping at night. If they don't show you, leave.
Yeah. As much as that would be foreign to you to not have somebody in the building, I think though what it's important to point out is most places are going to be the opposite of what you're offering, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but most
Yep.
places are going to be quote unquote 24-hour access or monitoring or whatever, but there's not a human being there. A key differentiator of the way you do things is that there's somebody there, right?
Oh,
Yes.
of course. And I will say this, we had another boarding facility that's very, very, very five-star. They're in South Carolina. We had them on as a guest, and I will give them so much credit because not only do you have to worry about things, God forbid, like a fire or a hurricane, evacuation, whatever, but their staff is so well trained that they actually, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, noticed a dog that was pacing, wouldn't settle down. They went to visit it in their suite. The dog was like retching. These are all signs of bloat.
Yes.
Bloat is the mother of all emergencies. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, they made the call to take the dog into the emergency vet. It was bloat.
Oh my
The
God.
dog needed emergency life-saving surgery. And had they not been there, forget it, never, never would have survived. But also, had they not been trained to identify the signs of bloats, they would have just been like, I don't know, do you want water? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like they would have probably not taken it to an emergency vet.
That's
And that is the level of detail and standards that everyone should look for. Me personally, if I see a crate, I mean, again, I've never boarded my dog, but that to me is something I would never want him to be in. He's not a crate. He sleeps with us.
yeah.
And the other thing is that going back to the kind of required play groups or socialization, you know, there are so many dogs or pets that should not be forced into that situation, whether, they had a trauma, maybe they got into a dog fight, they were hurt. My dog is 14 and a half years old. I don't want him to be forced to play with other animals or, sometimes they might accidentally just step on him or, you know what I'm saying? Like every dog is different. They're all an individual and they need to be treated as such.
Absolutely. And that's what we do. There's really nothing that's cookie cutter here other than, our level of care and, cleanliness and all that. But we have the parents answer a lot of questions before their pup stays here. And we require every parent to bring their pup for an overnight stay prior to them leaving for vacation, because we want to assess and see how their pup does before they leave, because we have created the best environment you can possibly ask for. Everything about it is wonderful. This is the best setting you'll possibly find, safest, cleanest, but it's not for every single dog, So we have to assess that. And so far we've opened in January of 25. We had a very slow opening, but we've had hundreds of dogs in here since we opened, and there have only been two that I told their parents, I was like, this is not for them, they need to be in a home environment because they had a very traumatic life prior to here, and they just can't handle being in the suite without a human in there with them. So all the other pups, they do great. And the more they come, the better they are. And sometimes they're fine the first night. They're perfect. Like we have a trial here right now. She's literally, I'm looking at the cameras. She's perfect. She's fine. She's so comfy in her room. And that makes me so happy. But, some pups have a lot of, it's really separation anxiety. That's the biggest obstacle. And and when we do the overnight assessment, I tell the parents, I'll keep them updated and let them know how their pup is doing. And sometimes I'll send the pup home. I'll be like, you know what, this is a little too much. We're not going to keep he or she overnight. Just bring them back in a few days and we'll see if there's any improvement the second day. And there usually is. Two pups that I told the parents that this is not for them, they came 3 times and there was 0 improvement. So for me, I'm like, I don't want to do this to them. You know, they never stayed overnight. I sent them home each time. I don't want to have upset dogs here. I just don't want that. I want them to be happy and healthy. And we don't see a lot of diarrhea. We don't see a lot of vomit and just things that make them sick because they're stressed and upset. We don't see it. On occasion, yes, we do, but it's not an everyday thing. We never have dogs barking all day. It's just never, ever happening. They bark. You know, we have pups in the building. Sometimes they bark. If they hear something, right now, Nikki's vacuuming. I hear the vacuum going, and, you know, none of them are barking, but we may have a dog here that would react to that and bark. But for the most part, it's just a very
However,
calm setting.
in those alternative settings, you're saying though, there's a lot of barking because they're uncomfortable, because they're scared, because they're kenneled, caged, whatever,
Yes.
crated. So but what I'm hearing is they are comfortable in your environment, in the suites, which I understand. I filled out a permission slip to go on a tour. So I think soon in this conversation, you're going to take us on a tour of the facility. The permission slip joke wasn't funny for either of you because I didn't smile. I filled out
I
a
actually
permission
was like,
slip. Now,
what?
yeah, I know. See, that's the beauty of what I do sometimes. People are confused. But I know you're gonna take us on a tour, but like obviously they're comfy, like you said, they're chilling out, they're relaxed, which is the reason why I think a lot of the barking goes on in these other places because they're not comfortable and they're scared and they're dealing with stuff. Whereas,
Other. So if one dog is nervous and has anxiety and is circling around in their crate and
right,
starts barking, another dog's going to pick up on that, and then they're all going to start barking. And it's it is not it's not the kind of environment that I would ever want my pets in. I do have a quick question before the tour. I would love so much to help you grow. So what I would love to know is, can you mention like basically what area do you cover, or how far do people come to your place? Like, do they come from Staten Island?
The furthest is New Jersey.
Wow.
We have 2 pups that come from New Jersey. A very frequent pup that I'm sure you know if you look at my Instagram often is Ruby, the Frenchie. When we first started caring for her, she lived in Manhattan and she used to drive from Manhattan. And that actually, she used to drive from Manhattan to my home, which is further east than here. She used to bring her very frequently. And then now she lives in Glen Cove. So we have a lot of pups that live in Nassau County, Massapequa, Bethpage, Garden City, like just off the top of my head, some of where they travel from, Glen Cove. So when people find a place that they trust, the distance, it really doesn't matter, so it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So usually they have to bring them the day before they travel anyway to check in. So it's not a big deal. And we are very close to Islip Airport. And sometimes that works out in their favor where they can come on the way to the airport. Yes. We're 10 minutes from there. It's very close. So I would say anybody on Long Island would have to pass through here to get off the island, to pass through, we're not right by the expressway. We're about, I don't know, 8 minutes from the expressway. So, just go north a little bit and head back off the island.
Right. So yeah, let's take a little tour. I'm curious I don't know how many suites you have, but I'm dying to do this because your attention to detail and the decor is so cool. It's so cool. Let's take
look at this place.
This is the lobby.
The lobby. Are those, oh my God, come on with the luggage rack. Are you kidding me?
So cute, right? So
those
that's
chairs very small. Are those like those chairs behind you that like are in the lobby? Are they like very low to the ground? Or is that for the dogs?
They're a little low, nothing crazy. They sit on them.
Yeah, for people.
Pretty have and like also I remember this from when she was doing this out of her house. Like I'm picturing you constantly redecorating. Like you cover every holiday, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day. Like do you have an entire warehouse of decorations?
Well, luckily for me, not luckily for my husband, we have a huge attic in our house and it's the whole area of our house and we can walk in it. So yeah, Not the greatest thing for him, but it's pretty great for me. So we do store everything in there. But I love decorating for holidays. I do the same thing at my house. I just can't help it. I love it. And you know what? Everybody that walks in here in the lobby, they love it.
Give you a lot of credit for that right there, because to me, I'm like debating whether or not I even want to put up a Christmas tree this year. I'm just like,
A lot of work. It is definitely a lot of work, but it also makes me happy. Like even my fall decor right now, it makes me happy. I love it.
all
So
right.
this is our kitty cat room. There's a little bit of a glare. It's called Central Perk. We went with the Friends theme. If you love the show Friends, my favorite show. So that's Central Perk, and then we have the orange
Is
couch.
that a place so you do, I don't think I knew this. So cats can stay over, or is that just like
Yes,
a
yes,
day thing?
it's specifically for the cats. And we just had Blossom here the other day. She loved it. I took a screenshot of the camera in the middle of the night. She was sleeping on the orange couch. It was adorable. And then actually, I'll go this way. There's all the little gadgets that, we have a bunch of toys and they can climb. We have all the things on the walls. It's kind of hard to see. I would have to go in there.
Do you do more than one cat at a time, or like?
We have not yet, but we do have that option. So we have 2 cat houses and they're very spacious. So far we've only had one at a time. So we just leave the door open to their cat house and then they have the whole room. And then on this wall, we have just all the little fun things for them to do, jump around and climb. So
That's
it's
cool.
perfect. And we have a TV on up in the corner there. They can't get to the wires. They can't hop on top of it, but we keep Friends playing on there 24 hours a day.
Do you really?
I do. And then we have it, that wall unit right there. That's a UV air sanitizer. We have
wow.
we have those in every single suite. It disinfects the air. And in addition to the wall units on the rooftop attached to the HVAC units, we have UV sanitizers attached to those. So the air that's coming through all of the ductwork is also being disinfected. So this is the cleanest air they could possibly be breathing. It's very, very safe.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's amazing. I actually don't need the wall units, but I wanted to do that just in case, I don't know, if something malfunctions on the roof and I don't find out about it right away, at least we have the wall units that are cleaning the air. So this is, I'm sorry, this might be a little weird to watch. I'll try to be careful. This is one of our suites. So this is our Hawaii suite.
Aloha.
So we have all vacation themes, which, the dogs don't really care about that. That's more for us. But I will say that they definitely appreciate all of the pictures and the things we have on the walls because it's very homey. And they are not in just like 4 walls and a rubber bed type of setting. So all of our beds are orthopedic. They're nice, comfy, big mattresses. All of the beds have pillows and blankets, a very plush, luxurious, comfy setting.
Question: what is the most popular suite?
It's really not so much popular. We place them in certain suites based on their personality. We, of course, the parents fill out a questionnaire and they would express any concerns they have or, any mischief that the dog may get into and things that they like, things that they don't like. So like this Hawaii room, we can't put every dog in here because some of them may chew that thatch that's hanging off the tiki bed. So, we just can't but we decide where all the pups going. People can put a request in if they'd like, but, and we'll try to, of course, accommodate the request, but we can't put, and then the other thing is like, if we have a dog that's very vocal and reactive to maybe like little sounds that they may hear, we may keep them away from another dog that's reactive. So we would put them in a different hallway so that they maybe can't hear the other dog barking. So the rooms are completely enclosed. It's literally a hotel suite, just like you or I would stay in. You see the ceiling there. So they can't see and hear every little thing. And that's why they're all relaxed. Like I'm in the hallway right now talking and they're not barking because they probably can't hear me. They may smell my perfume because sometimes when we walk through the halls, if I stay in the same spot for a while, like I am right now, we may hear some sniffing at the bottom of the door because they can smell us. But we can walk around and do what we need to do for the most part during the day, and they're napping. They're fine.
Acoustically, do you think that thunder and or fireworks is kind of drowned out because of the acoustic design here?
Yes, 100%. They cannot hear thunder, they cannot hear fireworks, they cannot hear ambulances that drive by. So
Wow.
the resort, the hotel suites are in the center of the resort. They're not on the perimeter of the building at all. So there are holes on each side that the suites are not attached to.
That was another detail that you thought of. That was not an accident. That was intentional, yes?
Correct. Yes.
That's huge. Let me tell you something. If I lived in New York, I might just board my dog with you just for the firework factor.
I know.
Mm,
I know.
mm,
Dogs are
mm.
tormented in a house
Yeah.
because they can hear everything. They can't hear wind or nothing like that. And we have
What did
there's
you
another
do?
floor above us, so they can't hear like anything above us because there are tenants upstairs.
What did you kind of like? Obviously, Valerie's right on saying you thought of all these things. How did you were you working with architects? Were you
Yes.
working with builder? Like, what was it like? How? Because the fact that you know they can't hear sirens outside the building means you did some kind of testing, or how did you go about making sure that you were able to pull that off?
So we well, yes, to answer your question, architects, engineers, the contractor, like we all work together to make sure that these rooms are very tight with sound. So the walls are heavily insulated with, well, of course, it's thick sheetrock. It's a commercial sheetrock,
Mhm.
and it's fire resistant as well. And the walls are heavily insulated with a very thick fire resistant insulation. It's not like that Pink Panther stuff that we have in our
Right.
house. It's like
Yeah.
really thick, dense insulation. So that in itself drowns out most of the sounds. We also have that insulation sitting on top of the ceiling tiles. So they can't hear everything in here.
Wow.
And each room has a TV. We keep doggy calming music on the TV.
Well, let me ask you about that because I sometimes put on spa music for Cheeto. Like, I've been meaning to ask you this, Val. Like, I know some people say their dogs like to watch TV and things like that. What have you guys found is something? Because sometimes Cheeto does this thing, and I Googled it. He does this thing where he's
Yeah.
and he just starts bugging, and it's late at night, like he's trying to dig through my couch, right, or through one of the beds if he's laying on the bed or something. And I'm like, I realize they say that means he's like excited and like a little stressed maybe, and like trying to get it. So sometimes I'll bring him out, let's run around, let's do something. But sometimes it's 12 o'clock at night and we're not going to do that. But like, what have you guys found? I mean, Ann, because you're dealing with all these pups, what kind of music? What are they digging? I mean, I remember the Tasmanian Devil, and they used to say like music soothes the savage beast in those cartoons. But like, what have you all found is soothing for these
Well,
animals?
I'll go first on this because, first of all, it certainly depends on the kind of music, right? Like you're not going to play Metallica, or no offense to Metallica, but
No offense to
I
Metallica.
love classical music, but it also obviously depends on the actual piece of music. There are some aggressive classical pieces, right? So I'm not going to play the 1812 overture with cannons, but I love like playing the Nutcracker. I'm a huge Tchaikovsky fan, so Swan Lake, these types of really just classical music in general for us too is very calming, soothing, and yeah, that's my go-to. But I'm curious, and do you do spa music or something else?
It's specifically dog calming music,
Ah,
and every single TV has the same music playing, and we keep that on 24 hours for them.
so that's like a channel or something on Spotify?
Yeah, it's something my husband downloaded and it's on a little flash drive that we keep in the back of the TV. We originally started with dog TV, which is a very stimulating like dog channel. There's quite a few of those, but we found that some dogs are reactive to that because they see dogs on the TV screen or they hear them barking and then they're reactive. But we just want them to relax when they're in here, so we don't want anything to cause them to get,
You
worked
just
up.
described the music really. I'm so curious now. Would you say it's like classical or spa music, or like what would you?
No, it's not anything like that. It sounds almost like a combination of sounds, but they're like soothing sounds mixed together. Like sometimes it sounds like a very faint phone alarm in the background, and like everybody knows that iPhone alarm
Yeah.
sound. Sometimes I feel like I hear that, and it's just like a whole bunch of different sounds with like a
I have
soft
to
music playing.
Yeah, we need it. We need to get it. We need to find out what that is.
into that. I have to know exactly what this is.
I
Okay.
have to wait, let me turn one of the TVs on and I'll show you. So while I'm doing this, I'll tell you every single suite has a, oh wait, this TV have it. Oh, I'm in the wrong room. I actually don't have it in this room because we haven't used that room yet. This one has it. So every single suite has a smoke detector and a
Mhm.
fire sprinkler,
Mhm.
as
Excellent.
well as the rest of the resort. We have them everywhere. We have an amazing fire system.
In your due diligence, is that not the case for other like dog boarding places?
You know, I don't want to say, I would imagine that it's required by a fire marshal, you know, inspection, that they would have to have something. But you know, most pet care facilities, it's basically where the dogs sleep. It's just really a big room, one big room that just has
Right.
cages or crates or little kennels, and they all basically are sharing the same air, and they're just in the same room. And
Mhm.
maybe they have like a bigger, instead of a cage or a crate, they'll have like a bigger area for the dog to be in,
Mhm.
but they're just like walls with no tops on them. So
Mm.
again, it's just it's like a room that would have like 50 dogs in it, even
Yeah.
if there's cages separating them or partitions. So they probably have a, you know, maybe one or two smoke detectors and fire sprinklers in that particular room,
Right.
where we have one in every single suite, because every single suite is enclosed and private, just like a hotel suite that we would stay in, or a hotel room that we would stay in.
Really is. So what's the name of this room?
This is Hawaii.
Oh, this is Hawaii. Okay. Hi, Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Anne, let me ask you a question, which, by the way, you never have to answer. I'm just kind of popping off in my head, but this is so amazing that I just picture you being completely full, like people needing to book you like 6 months in advance. So my question is, what is your biggest challenge right now, let's say?
Um, I would say my biggest challenge is me, because I have had such a slow opening since the beginning, because I'm just nervous, because I'm worried that's going to happen, where in the beginning, I didn't want to get swarmed with all of these pups that were here, and I didn't want to turn people away, and I didn't want to not be able to care for them properly. So in the beginning, you know, we of course wanted to get all our little kinks out like every business does. And I just feel like we're not selling pizza or clothing. Like, we have lives here,
Yeah,
and if people are coming here, they're obsessed with their dogs, like I am, like
right.
you know, so, and like you are both. So you can understand, like, everything has to be absolutely perfect. I couldn't have anything go wrong. I needed to oversee everything. I needed to watch everything that was being done in the beginning, especially while we were going through all of our phases. And so I really wasn't advertising. There are a lot of people that have no idea we exist. And that's
Mhm.
partially my fault, because I didn't advertise. I just put my phone number on Google in August.
So are you
Because
at
I was
that point
afraid.
now? Are
What's
you at
that?
that point now? You're there now where you've kind of walked through,
Yes.
or rather worked through. So, okay, I love that, but I love that intentional, or the intentionality of being thoughtful and going, look, I'd rather like have a slower start and know that by we're doing this deliberately and we're going to do everything right and work out as much as we can before we really do a big opening and go, oh shoot, man, like this is an issue or that's an issue. So
Yeah.
now it sounds like though having been through that, now's the time to really soar. And as we're in the fourth quarter going into next year, it's exciting because now knowing Val, this was perfect timing, I think, to get Ann back in the mix here, because I would think you and your organization are certainly different than others, and in fact better than the other opportunities in the market. And I don't know how many million people live on this island, but it's millions of people live on this island. And you know, I will tell you,
Hmm.
Cheeto doesn't get left anywhere. When we go to the Poconos, Cheeto comes to the Poconos or he goes to my mother-in-law's house. Um, and that's like, that's not exactly convenient all the time. Like you were saying before, like some
Yeah.
people, there's times I will tell you this summer, it's a couple times I didn't leave the island and the rest of my crew did because we were sticking around with Cheeto because my place in the Poconos was a non-dog spot that weekend or whatever. Cause like different up in my place up there, we get different places. Some are pet friendly, some aren't. My point is, there's probably plenty of opportunity. So what I think Valerie was going here too. Like, I love how you were so open and vulnerable by saying, I'm the problem, I'm in the way, I'm the
All the time, and Tommy knows.
bottleneck. We talk about this. We've been the bottleneck in growing what we're doing here, Val, right?
Just yesterday, and I'm going to share this with you because it reminds me of something that a friend of mine a long time ago told me. I was sharing an idea that I had with him, whatever, and he was like, "You have to do it." And he's kind of an artist, guitar wise. Anyway, he was like, "You have to do it. This is a great idea." And he said something like, "You owe it to the world.
Hmm.
Put yourself out there." And
Hmm.
that's how I feel about what you're doing because what you're doing is so spectacular and different. And the highest of standards is what everyone wants when they love their pets. And, it really, really is time, I think, for you to soar. I
Hmm.
also shared this with Tommy yesterday because, long story short, I don't even know, Ann, if I've shared this with you, but we're building a networking platform of pet parents, animal lovers, and business people that we can all find each other. The consumers can find the businesses can find the consumers, and we're all going to advocate for better legislation. Anyway, the point is that I booked another guest for whenever, and I hadn't even mentioned any of that to her. And I said to her, she was asking me questions about the podcast, and I said, "Don't be nervous." I said, "If you want, I can send you an episode. She can get a feel for what we do." She wrote back, she said, "I've already watched 2 episodes, and I'm talking to my organization about becoming a member." I
Oh, wow.
didn't even talk to her about that. I didn't even bring it up. You know what I mean? And I called up Tommy and I'm like, "We're idiots." Like, well, no, he's not. I am. I'm just like, we're so like, I guess fearful or, whether it's just fear of success, fear of failure, fear of rejection. I don't know what it is, but
Fear
I'm
of rejection, that's for
like,
sure. Yeah.
it's like I know that we're doing great stuff, and I know that other people would want to be involved. So let's all get out of our own way because we are doing what's best for the animals.
It's great. Yeah, right on, Val. Right on. And how does somebody book time? How do they get out there? Do is there do you have you done wait, hold on. We're back to the music. Okay, what is this?
Oh, what is this on though? Is this TV?
No,
Uh,
she said it's a flash drive on there.
yeah,
So
so it's called 1 hour of calming music
I think it said Thunder Ease.
for dogs. Yes, by Thunder Ease.
Thunder Ease. Let's
A,
check that.
A at the end.
Yeah, I saw the
Mm.
A. I don't know what that it was like a weird A. Thunder
And it's
Ease.
just very, very nice and very calming. And
Hmm.
our UV air sanitizers in every suite, they also give off a little white noise, which is very calming.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So when I'm in one of these suites, if the TV is on and the UV sanitizer is on, if there's a dog in a suite barking right next to me, I won't hear it.
Um,
It's that much. You won't even
It
hear it
really
right
is.
next door. That's
Yeah, if
wild.
you saw the insulation in these walls,
I,
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
yeah.
I come visit and get an in-person tour. I do
Yeah.
have a question for you, and then I know we're going to have to kind of wrap it up, but important question. Out of curiosity, so doing what I do now, in general, we have a lot of holistic customers, and a lot of them, including holistic veterinarians, don't they believe we're over vaccinating our pets, right? So, um, are you familiar with titer testing, and do you accept that?
So it hasn't been, nobody has asked me about it yet. For the most part, we've had a couple of pups that are allergic to vaccines
Mhm.
and they checked with their vet. I was 99.9% sure that they would be able to stay here because of the safety and the cleanliness and the UV sanitizers we have everywhere.
And the separation, right? The
Yes,
dogs
and because
are,
we're not socializing. Yes, that's absolutely right. So, those pups, the parents checked with the vet and the vet was like, oh yeah, that sounds like an awesome place. They could definitely stay there. They're safe. So we do have some pups that come here. I mean, I don't want to advertise like, oh, bring your unvaccinated dogs here. Obviously, we want to keep all the dogs separate. But of course, there's a bunch of questions that I ask those parents as well. Make sure your dog doesn't go to the dog park, which obviously if they're not vaccinated, they're not bringing their dogs to a dog park, but no dog park, no groomer, and don't go to the doctor within like 2 weeks of coming here. Obviously, if their pup gets sick and they need medical attention, bring them to the doctor. But we don't want anyone bringing their dogs to those places, even if they are vaccinated,
yeah.
and then bringing them here because they can get sick and then bring it here and maybe not show any symptoms.
Yes, and that's another thing. I know some people who, which I feel so badly for the dogs, but they will board at a lot of veterinarians offer boarding.
Mhm.
And it just makes me so sad because think about it, the other dogs that are not there for boarding purposes, they're held overnight because they're sick, or
Yep.
they're held for several nights because they're battling something. And so a lot of times those people will come back and their dogs are sick.
Yes.
Ugh,
Yeah,
kills.
I know I mean, that's great, that veterinarians offer that service for people, but I mean, for me, I would never use that service because they're with sick dogs. There's sick dogs in and out of the vet's office, so I'm not sure why that's a good option, but I know a lot of people that have done it over the years. They didn't have any issues, but I don't like taking any chances.
Exactly.
I remember when we were kids, and like if you were going to the pediatrician for a well visit, you didn't want to go in. Like they actually, I remember years later, they had two different entrances. Like on this, there was like a second floor if you were sick, and there was like a first floor off the street level if you
Mm.
were coming for a well visit. Because my mom would be like, you'd be going for your annual physical, and there's people coughing with bronchitis all over the office, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is. I'm here today for a well visit. I'll see you in 3 days for bronchitis, man. Like, so I could see that that's not a good fit. And how do we find out? How do people get connected? Like I mean, you've taken us on a tour, but like you said, you did you have a grand opening or was it a soft
No,
opening? Like
no, we
you
haven't.
haven't. So
No.
when is that coming and
I'm not
how do
quite
you need us to
sure.
help?
I'm not
Okay.
sure if we're having a grand opening. I mean, I always imagined having a very grand opening. That was the way I envisioned it. But now, just because I've had such a slow opening for financial reasons, I wouldn't really be able to do it the way I want to do it, and that's fine. I mean, it's okay. I feel like little by little, more people are finding out about us. And now because we have pups in the resort,
Mhm.
basically every day we'll have at least 2 or 3 suites occupied. I wouldn't want people in the resort walking around anyway because we have dogs
Right.
resting in their suites. So yeah, if for some reason if I want to do some last minute like announcement like, oh, we're going to have a tours or grand opening on Saturday because I know there are no dogs here on Saturday, maybe I would do
Yeah.
something like that, but highly unlikely, especially now with the holidays coming up. And then
Maybe
Yeah.
a ribbon cutting.
I know I should do that. I should definitely do a ribbon cutting. That's
They don't
absolutely
have to
right.
go in,
Yeah, they
at,
could do it out front. You do it out front, and
yeah.
if it's nice enough, actually, if you would do it on a nice day or in the springtime, you keep. I don't know what your front like looks like if you have a parking lot there, but you have them come through parking lot. I know somebody who can sing the national anthem. You, and
I want you to sing it.
I will. I'd love to. I'm a great singer. I think. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but um, so the acoustics in my shower are great.
Oh,
So this has been great. Val has another question for you before we go. Valerie, take it away.
On Instagram, it's Pooches B&B. That's POOCHS BANDB. Pooches B&B. And even if you're not in New York like me, you just got to watch these videos. The content is amazing. And
I
by
know
the
her
way, you've given me so many ideas to do at my store. Like I did, I'll say this was my 2 year anniversary, and I saw this video where she had like a 4x4 or whatever white square with paint on it, a couple of colors of paint that you slip in the Ziploc bag, and then on top of the Ziploc bag you put something yummy that the dogs are going to lick. So they basically create their own little like masterpiece of art Oh my gosh, what a hit. Hilarious. So much fun.
I would love to take credit for that, but I actually saw that online and then and I duplicated it. But yeah, the dogs love it. Listen, they are they're so amazing. They don't even care what they're doing. They just love being with us. They love interacting. They love being loved. They're innocent souls, and we just want them to be happy. I just want to show you real quick. This is one of our deluxe suites.
Ooh,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
I
awesome.
sleep there.
That's like if you have twins or brother
Yeah,
and sister,
we have
brother and
lots of
brother.
families of pups that come here. It's
Yeah.
hard to show this on this
Yeah, I
way.
think it's like the headboard is made out of skis. I love
Yes.
that.
So
So
that
good.
this is our ski room. So we
Yeah.
have 4 deluxe suites for families. This is Nashville.
Ash-
Nashville's a popular
Oh,
spot.
So
like that.
cute.
You know,
All of
it's
our beds are
it kind of like
orthopedic.
it tricks the pup. It's like, okay, so we're all going to Nashville, so we're gonna drop you off here, you know.
And then one other thing I want to mention. So our doors, the suite doors, can you see it? I don't know if you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're seeing the reflection, but it looks like
Okay.
it's dark, darked out, right?
So yeah, it's tinted, but it's basically like a one-way tint. So we're able to look in to check on them. And if we're walking by, they can't see out. And that eliminates a lot of stress on top of them not
Sure
hearing
it does.
anything. We're seeing
Yeah.
they would see staff walk by 1,000 times a day. They would see other dogs walking by. They don't see that. And that's another reason why they're able to settle down and relax and rest in their room.
We thought of everything.
Yeah.
They
I
get
mean,
they
I
get
want to
plenty of playtime too. I keep talking about the rest that they're getting. They get a lot of playtime also, and they love it. That was the big playhouse that I was just in when we were chatting, but it's pretty
I think
amazing
we'd all
here. And
benefit.
I love showing it to people. Everyone that comes here for a tour is blown away.
You should
And
be so proud.
I am. We really did an amazing thing here. It's exactly what I wanted, and it's my standards for pet care. I would never have it any way other way. All of our staff is CPR and first aid certified, and I did not hire anybody that ever worked at another pet care facility because I feel that if
Bad
they think that
habits.
that's acceptable, I don't want
Right.
them here because
I
that's
Yeah.
love
not it's not
I
acceptable to
love
me.
you, Aunt Levy.
All right,
I
we
love you
got
too,
to
Al. All
talk
right,
about Levy. We got to leave it there. All
Ow.
right, listen. Ha ha. See what I did?
I
So
love
look,
it.
and I want to say, I just think that is the kind of resort I would want to stay in. It's quiet. I don't got to see people. I got like tints. I feel like I'm on vacation because I'm in Nashville. Oh, she's showing me the coastal room. Is this the coastal? Oh, like the nautical room.
I love that. That's my
Well,
favorite.
Val, we do live on an island, Valerie.
My
We
fave.
well, we you used to. We do. We all do. Ann and I live on an island. Look at that, the beach, man.
Beach.
Right. I love it. Love it. All right, we got to leave it
Um,
there. We got to leave it there. We really do. And how do they keep in touch with you? Tell us how to keep in touch with you.
well, Instagram is big. We're big on Instagram. And, we have a traditional old fashioned phone number, 631-615-8411. You could call us. It's a landline. And I would love to answer any questions. I love putting parents' minds at ease, making them feel comfortable. And then we can schedule a tour. We start with that. And we also have a fabulous room service menu. It's fabulous.
Oh,
Oh my
honey,
God.
I'm gonna hop on a call with you really soon. I need to extend this conversation, but um
Okay.
we have
Thank you
much.
both so much for having me.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You are welcome. We appreciate you. We love it. This is so good. Pooches B&B right out here on Strong Island doing the great work. And Levy, we appreciate you. Th-
I adore.
This she adores her. They adore each other. I adore everybody. This is PALS, your professionals and animal lovers show. The Professionals and Animal Lovers Society. Join us, become part of what we're doing. There's that membership model. Go to pal-show.com and you can check it all out, or reach out to me, Tommy D at pal-show.com, or Valerie at pal-show.com. We'll hook you up. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Make it a great day. Take care of your animals. Take care of your people. Bye now.
Right.
Thank
That
you
was
both
awesome.
so much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. You are the bomb, Ann Levy.